Namaste. Myself Sachidanand, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Buddha Institute of Technology, Dira Gorakhpur. We are in the continuation of atomic structure as we talked about this in the previous lectures, that how that atomic structure provide a very kind of a base for designing or selecting or creating a material from the very beginning. The base which is defined by that particular atomic structure, on that behalf the material structure is to be defined. As we talk that an atoms play a very vital role for constructing any material from the beginning, as you can say from the zero. It start attracting other materials atom and combine to make a proper atomic structure, and by combining this, that atomic structure leads to the higher layer of structures, that is the nuclear structure, microstructure, and the final is the component. So on that behalf we were talking about the importance of atomic structure and how these structures are shared the electrons to each others and create a new material with a different kind of properties. The rotation of that atoms in the material enhancing the various properties of the material. As we discussed earlier, if we are going to build a material or we are improving any existing material, the atomic structure need to be rebuilt or need to be created in such a manner that it fulfill the basic requirement, as you can say, the basic properties of any component, or you can say a material which will use for making any kind of product. And that is how these all things started. So now we are continuing our lecture on that behalf. So we are continuing these particular things, that how the atomic bonding is taking place and how many types of atomic bonding which take place to complete a material structure for creating such kind of a material which will utilize for making any component, and that component will work as per their environmental condition, and that environmental condition will handle by the various properties of the material. So as you can say, the property of the material is in the coexistence between the working atmosphere or working environment of any product. So how these things are happening and how these things are work and they build. In this scenario, we came here to discuss the various atomic structures, how the materials start building themselves, and how we mix the materials, and by mixing of this material, this particular atoms combine other materials atoms to form and to, you can say, adopt, or you can combine their properties into them and create a single material which is having the various properties in it. So in this scenario, this atomic bonding play a very vital role. So we are discussing these bonds how it works. So from the beginning, a very beginning, the primary bond is the initial which is founding in the various solids. So there are the three types of primary bonds which are found in the solids: the ionic bond, covalent bond and the metallic bond. So all these bonds have their own importance, have their own characteristics to combine the atoms of different materials to build a various property in a single material. So the majority of the engineering material consists of these bonds. Obviously, as we are discussing, the bonds, the atoms play a very vital role, and their bonding is also play a very crucial role to build a new material or to improve an existing material. So many properties of the material depend on the specific kind of bond and the bond energy. The energy which connect that particular atoms in between them, as we discussed, NaCl, the combination of the two materials. So we will discuss how these particular bonds are working. So in that continuation, we will discuss first the ionic bond. As we discuss the distribution of the particular electrons, atoms in that particular scenario by the various scientists which are proposed by their theories and the principles, that how that atoms is evolving in this particular definite areas, or they are jumping from the higher level to lower level, or they are starting from the lower level to the higher level. So these all kind of things which we discussed earlier by the explaining the various principle of the atomic models, that how that particular atoms are working in that particular scenarios. So we are in the particular things, the ionic bond. So we discuss. So the ionic bond, which we are going to discuss. So what it tells, how it works. So the ionic bonds are generally found in the compound, the mixtures, composed of metal and the non-metals, and arise out of electrostatic attractions between the oppositely charged atom, as we discussed these things earlier in the various principle, atomic principle, where they said about the attractions of the atoms. So that is the things in the happening in the ionic bond, how these particular NaCl electrons are attracting in themselves to create a single material, NaCl, that is the metal and the non-metals. So the number of electron in the outer cell is 1 in Na and the 7 in the Cl. So you can see there is a far difference. There is the only outer shell 1 and there is in Cl there is only 7. So how they combine each other? So therefore, Na will tend to reject one electron to get a stable configuration of Na and Cl. Sorry, that is Na, not Ne. Will accept one electron to obtain Ar configuration. The Coulombic attraction between the Na plus and Cl minus, that is denoting how they are combining and they leaving their atoms, electrons. Thus form will make an ionic bond to produce NaCl, and in the similar manner that some of the other example of that particular materials which they are combining, and they are showing that how they are particularly sharing their electrons, positive to negative, negative to positive in the outermost shell. So that is CaF2, CSI, CSCI, MgO, Al2O3. So these are the basic examples of that particular ionic bond, that how they create that particular materials. They combine that particular material by combining that particular electrons in between them. So that is how the beginning of the material, that is how the creation of that particular material is started. To combine a material. So as we discussed the ionic bond, now we move to the covalent bond. That how that particular covalent bond is working. So these three categories defined as per the configuration and the stability and their sharing of electrons. On that behalf, that particular category of that particular bonding is defined. So in this scenario, we move to the now covalent bond. So in this type of bonding, atoms share their valence electron to get a stable configuration. So this particular bonding, sharing the valence electron to get themselves in a balanced manner. So we taking the example of methane, that is CH4, the carbon and the mixture of the hydrogen atoms. So the 4 hydrogen atoms share their valence electron with 1 carbon atom. As you can see in the figure, how they combine themselves to create that particular component, that is called the methane. There the methane is in the gaseous form. So we discussed these things. So the carbon atom in turn share 1 valence electron with each of 4 hydrogen atoms. In the process, both hydrogen and carbon atoms get stable configuration and form a covalent bond. So that is how this bonding taking place, to combine the different materials, different atoms to form a single unit, either in the solid form, in the liquid form or in the gaseous form. So these bonds are playing a very vital role at the beginning of creating any materials, and that is how this ionic and the covalent bond are working. So there is some energy, the positive and the negative energy, the higher cell and the lower energy, that is the attraction and repulsion process, creating these kind of bonds to begin create materials. So the covalent bond are formed between the atom of the similar electronegativity. So these are the various limitations, or you can say the specific things which we are focusing on, and that is how it differentiates that particular bonds in between them. So due to the electron negativity, in similarity between the electron negativity, the carbon atom in diamond are covalently bonded to each other, and the silicon also has the valence of 4 and form silicon SiC through the covalent bonding with the carbon atoms. So how that particular carbon will play an important role? Why we are combining all these things by these kind of different bonds? As we discussed and we talked earlier also, that we are improving the properties. So in this particular scenario, what the carbon play a very vital role. If we include the carbon in any materials, they increase their hardness properties, as they have the tendency. The carbon have that kind of tendency. If we increase the level of carbon in particular material, the hardness which will come from that particular carbon characteristic will include with that particular material. As you can see in this silicon, it is very soft material. So at particular scenario, the silicon is working as per their requirement, and we need to create the kind of a component which requires the hardness also. So we combine that particular silicon carbon. That is why the carbon combine with that silicon and create the particular hardness as per the requirement of that particular material which will go for making any component. And that is how we build a material to create a various property or to enhance the various properties. So that is how this particular bonding plays a very vital role to create a material. And that is why we are taking these things in a consideration to analyze these things, that how that particular things Small things at atomic level play a very vital, crucial role to change the whole scenario of that particular material. And why we are introducing? Because a single material have only one tendency, or you can say two tendency of that particular behavior. But if you combine another material with them, they include their particular properties. As you can say, we are the human being. If we act only like only one things only, that we will not recognize as a single, as a multiple person, or as you can say the all-rounder person. But if we combine or we work various kind of things, then we will known as an all-rounder person, and we will fulfill all the criteria where we are required, and that is how the materials are also working. So in this scenario, the next is the metallic bond. So how it works? So it works in the metal. The valence electron are not really bound to one particular atom. So there is a change in that particular scenario in the metal. What is happening? A valence electron are not really bound to particular atoms. So what is happening? Instead they form a sea or a cloud of a valence electron which are shared by all the atoms. The remaining electron and the nuclei form what is called the I core, which is positively charged, and that is how the metallic bonding is working. And that metallic bond arises out of Coulombic attraction between these two opposite charged species, and the electron cloud and the ion cores start. So as you can see in the figure, there is a sea of the negative electrons and the ion cores, how they adjust themselves in that particular figure. That is the very zoom figure of that particular material, that how particular bonds are taking place, and act according to them to work for any material, for working in a very efficient way. So that is how these three kind of things is happening. So who is allowing these things to be happening? Obviously, as we talk, the energies. The energy which handling this whole universe, this whole space, this whole astitva, you can say a single word, the astitva. And all these things are the energies. And all these energies are combining each other, interacting with each other to create a synchronization, to rebuild the things and to maintain that balance, to proceed for a very particular purposes, as you can see. The purpose to create the things, to maintain the things, or to balance the things. And that particular things now we are discussing with the materials, that how the energy levels are working and attracting and repulsing that particular ions, the cores, atoms, how they are sharing to each other. It's not the magic, it's all about the energy working. How this energy, how this particular universe is working. As we are the human also, we are interacting with each others. We are interacting with all the entities which are available in this particular universe. We have that capability, and that is how these materials, atoms have the capability at that energy level. They are combining these things. So that is how these particular bonds are related, and that is how these particular bonds are creating this kind of help to create that kind of materials. So the characteristics of the primary bonds we will discuss, that is how these structure properties correlated to each other. So the ionic and the covalent bond possess the high bond energy. As we discussed the energy, why this particular things comes around, that is all working with the energy. If we lose the energy, everything will be loses. As we are the human being, we are the kind of a material. We need some kind of energy. We are having our food, we are having our lunch as a food, or you can say we are taking a meal or we are taking a water that enhancing or enriching our body, that is made by some kind of a material that is providing some kind of energy. That particular food is also having some kind of energy which distributing that energy in our body. That is how our body is working. As we discussed, that our body is also made by some kind of material, and that material is made by just a kind of atoms, and the combination of that, they are working a very highly efficient way, and for working this high efficiency they need energy, and that is how these particular structures, the material structures, also leading to that energy, and that energy level is the 450 to the 1000 kilojoule per mole in the covalent and the ionic bond. So the high bond strength in ionic and the covalent solid result in the high melting points. So now you can observing the things, how these things are building the properties of the materials. As this particular ionic and the covalent bond leading to the high melting point of that particular metal. That particular metal's high melting is related to that high bond energy. That is how these particular things are happening. And that is how these properties are building, and the high strength and the hardness of that particular material happen. And that's why we are studying the structure of that particular atoms or the material's structure. That is why and how these things are happening. It's not just the magic, it's just all about the working of the energies. So the example of that particular, as you know, the diamond. It is having a very high melting point, it is having a very high hardness and a high strength materials. And how it builds? It is built with the help of that ionic and the covalent bond. It is that the simple things which we need to understand, and that is the things which we need to study in these particular materials, engineering things, and to create in the future a kind of a material by analyzing these kind of things. So as the electron are tightly bound to the atom, that the point, the tightly bound, the bond that tied the atoms, all the things arises. So in that scenario, as we know, everything is not the perfect, not the 100% efficient. So if we tied something, there is a losing something. So there are general poor conductor of the heat and the electricity also, as they combine themselves to create a high melting point, a high strength of the hardness and another kind of properties. But they are losing some things also, because they have no tendency to create all the thing in them. So they lead to the poor conductor of heat and the electricity, and that is how we define a particular materials as per their working environment, as per their requirement, and that is how we select a material for a component to work in their particular scenario or in their particular condition. So that is how the selection of the material take place, as per the requirement, as per their properties. And they are also in the brittle in nature. As their hardness is increased, the tendency of the material is to be in the brittle in nature. But if we require the hardness, we will sustain that thing. If we not require the hardness, we will not sustain the things. So most of the ceramic consists of the covalent silicon carbon or ionic bond aluminum oxide, or a mix of both, and hence exhibit all the properties described the above things, and uses also that things that they don't have to create that kind of the conductivity and the possessing the electricity from them. So if we require a kind of to create a kind of a product which need to transfer the electricity from themselves, we will not select that particular material. And how we know these things? Because of this kind of bonding and this kind of structure which is made by that particular bonds. And that's the knowledge we need to grab in that particular material science and that particular engineering things. So structure property correlations, how these structure and the properties are correlated to each other, and in this the coexistence between them. So the metallic bond on the other hand, that with the space also, and we are living in this space. So the metallic bond on the other hand provide a good thermal and electric conductivity, as we discussed the ionic and the covalent. Now what is the role of that particular bond? The metallic bonds. So as per the requirement, we will choose that particular material with that particular bonds. Why? Because we need some kind of property like a thermal and electrical conductive property, as that the thing which is not provided by the ionic and the covalent bond. But if we require a kind of a material which have possessing a very good thermal conductivity and electric conductivity, as the valence electron are free to the move, and that is the point which make them to pass the electricity from them. As the point is discussed, and the valence electron are free to move, that movement create, or you can say provide a passage to transfer the energy from themselves to the another. And that is how the structure and the property correlated to the each. And that is how this all the scenario is related to that particular thing. So the metallic bond energy is 68 kilojoule per mole on the lower side and 850 kilojoule per mole for that particular, as you can say, on the higher side. So the bond strength increase with the atomic number as more electrons are available to form the bond with the ion pools. As the result of melting point, hardness and strength increase with the atomic number. So the atomic number increase, the melting point, the hardness and the strength will increase, but some scenario will decrease also. So the metal and the ductile as the free moving electron provide agility to the bond and allow plastic deformation. As you can see, these particular structures defining now the properties of the particular materials. As we discussed earlier, the hardness of that particular material, high melting point of the material. Now these lead to the another kind of property, that is ductile property. The ductile property we will discuss the types of property of the materials. But in brief I will tell you the property. As you can say, a ductility is the property which you can deform a material into a shape with ease without breaking their structure. They have the kind of limitation, but they have the tendency to stretch themselves. And how this stretching is available because of that particular atomic bondings. The metallic bondings which flowing from one to another places. The atoms which are flowing from one to another places and combining with these things, and that is how the stretching of the metals is happening, and that leads to the ductility of that particular material. So ductility is defined as the property of the material which plastically deform any material by applying a certain kind of a load. They have the tendency to stretch like a rubber band, but the rubber band have the tendency to regain their shape. But in ductility, if you extend that particular material up to a certain level is that the proportional limit. We will discuss this thing. If that surpass that proportional limit, then it will not regain its original shape and it leads to their permanent deformation, and that is lead to that particular ductility. And that is how it happened. It is just because of that kind of particular bondings. So now we will discuss the secondary bonds. We discussed about the primary bonds, and now we will discuss the secondary bonds. The van der Waals bonding. The van der Waals bonding between the molecules or the atom arise due to the weak attraction forces between the dipoles, and the nature of oscillation of atom leading to the momentary breakdown of the charge symmetry can generate temporary dipole, as you can see from the figure. And these dipoles can include dipoles and attraction between the opposite ends of the dipole lead to the weak bonding. So that the thing is to be mentioned, why it is happening and how we are using that thing. So the van der Waals bonding, the ion can also induce a dipole. Some molecules like HCl have permanent dipole due to the asymmetric arrangement of positive and negative charge, as you can see from the figure how they are combining themselves. So van der Waals bonding is much weaker compared to the primary bond, as we discussed in that particular points. That is the range from the 2 to 10 kilojoule per mole. So why if that is having a weaker as compared to the primary bond? So that is having some requirement. So where it requires the molecules in the liquids and the gases are held by the weak van der Waals forces, where the higher energy levels, that particular higher, you can say, the bonding is not required. So that is how the van der Waals bonding is playing role in that particular liquid and the solid, and the primary bond is playing the vital role in the solid materials also, and the van der Waals playing a very solid, very much material role in the liquid and the gas, not in the solid particular. So the van der Waals bonds, as you can see, they are not in the systematic arrangement, they are in the free motions, and that is how they defining the particular movement of the gas and the liquid. The atomic layer in the graphite are held together by weak van der Waals bonds. Therefore, the layer can move easily over each other, and this impart the lubricating property of the graphite is known for. As we told you that because of the lower bonding that provide the flexibility in the material to float or to generate a lubrication property in the material, that the material graphite is a solid material, but because of that van der Waals bonds they also possess a lubrication process, and that is why they are known as a self-lubricating material, where we are utilizing these things, the using of these particular things. So where we are using, as you can see in the railway track, we are using the certain kind of graphites to maintain the stability of that particular things, and other component also. Now we are moving to the hydrogen bonding. The hydrogen bond is a type of a secondary bond found in the molecules containing the hydrogen as constituents. The bond originating from electrostatic interaction between the hydrogen and another atom of high electron negativity, such as fluorine or oxygen. So the strength of the hydrogen bond is in the range from the 10 to 50 kilojoule per mole, as bigger than the van der Waals. So the water molecule, for example, are connected by the hydrogen bond. That dashed line in the picture is showing that particular thing, and that is why the liquid is floating. If they are combined together and create a higher level of bond, higher strong bond, they don't have the mobility. But due to that particular bonding, they have the kind of a tendency to move easily, and that is the movement of that particular atomic level, the movement of that particular atomic level, creating the tendency of that particular liquid to move from one place to another place easily, and that is how the liquidity of that particular liquid is generated. And that's why I am telling you that particular atom play and their arrangements play a very important and vital role for enhancing or making the properties of that particular structure or particular component, and that is how the structure and the property of the particular material is correlated in between them. So the bonds play a very vital role for creating properties of the material, and that properties are maintained by the floating of that particular atom or combining the particular atom in a very different ways, and that different ways lead to that particular material to provide a higher strength, to provide the conductivity, to provide various lubrications and the gaseous flow, and that is how these particular movements of the atoms and the electron or the, as you can say, ions, and the combination of that particular thing provide a very vital roles and play a very crucial roles to create a kind of a material as per that material will work as per their working environment, and that working environment is maintained by such kind of material with the help of that particular bonding, that particular primary bonding and the secondary bonding, and that is how these things are happening. And the primary bonding as we discussed for the solid, and the secondary for the liquid and the gaseous. So that is how the solid, liquid and gas states of the matters are working and combining this particular atom and floating the atom in between them. So creating a various kind of a structure, and that structure is linked to the various properties of the particular material. So that is how, and that is why it is very useful and necessary to understand the particular science behind these things. That is how we create a material and all these things. So for that, we are concluding all these things, and we will discuss the next topic in the later class. For till now, thank you.